So we start by understanding the various concepts of information systems. We are going to discuss and differentiate between data and information value, knowledge, system theory, objectives of a system, information systems, and of course the various types of information systems. So we start by understanding what is data and information. So first, data are the raw facts or observations or figures, that is that which does not have value or meaning but have been presented and it cannot be interpreted. So for example, a series of random numbers or symbols or values or words, or a series of facts observed from observation or recording using various recording devices, or a collection of random facts or a record of an event. When you look at information, this is data that has been processed in such a way that it is meaningful to the user and it has been processed to have meaning. So for example, if you look at a school timetable has been represented in a way that is meaningful and useful to the user because it shows the various subjects, the timings, the dates, the venue, and all that. So it can be interpreted and can be understood by the recipient. So for us to move from data to information, that goes through what we call processing, a processing function. So there are various types of processing that can be done on data. So we have various categories. The first one, you have classification. That is where you are pressing data into categories. For example, you can have, for an organization, you can have various expenses, and then you can classify either as fixed or variable costs, or you can classify student grades, or there are so many things you can do for various organizations. Rearranging or sorting, that is where you are organizing data so that items are grouped together or placed in a particular order. You're sorting. So for example, you can sort student records and sort them according to their registration number, according to the year of joining, according to the last name, according to the age, according to course. When you go to employees records, you can sort them maybe according to last name, according to salary, according to grades. So many things that can be done. There's all the information systems and softwares we use are built to have such facilities. So when you're creating, as a system designer, you're trying to understand the processing that needs to be done on the data for an organization. Aggregating is where you are summarizing data, for example, calculating average totals or subtotals or the kind of information that is required. Performing calculations, as the word suggests very easily, you want to calculate, for example, for student GPA, or you want to calculate employee salary. When you go to payslip producing, you want to get the gross pay, you are subtracting so many things, you're doing some calculations. So we have information system that provides those features. And lastly, we have the last type of processing information is selection. So you're choosing or discarding items of data on the basis of a certain criteria. So for example, you can create a list of potential students who can join a course based on their grades. So you are actually selecting. The information value or value of information. So when information is used effectively within an organization, it can bring so many improvements. That these whole areas covers a lot, because before we go to that information being used effectively, we later come in this unit of system analysis and design in our later lessons and learn about how to have information systems that will deal and tackle or use information in the right way, process things so that at the end of the day, organizations are able to benefit from information system. For example, have what you call operational excellence, among so many other benefits of information systems. So when an information system is used effectively, it can bring many improvements, which we usually classify them as tangible or intangible. So that is what you're calling the tangible and intangible value of information, the tangible benefits, intangible benefits. So, for example, one way to look at value of information is, for example, if you look at using information systems, the cost of gathering information, if it is reduced, if you're reducing a cost, that means that's a tangible benefit. Or for example, if you're reducing the administration cost for an organization, that's a tangible benefit. So the tangible value of information is the benefits that you get that can be given monetary value. The intangible benefits mostly is improvements that are going to be seen within the organization, but they may not have a direct monetary value. For example, improvement in decision behavior, or improvement in decision making, or enhanced customer service. You're going to have your customers will be satisfied, or enhanced public image for the organization. That's an intangible benefit. It's a benefit, but it is intangible. But definitely in business, you know that it's an intangible benefit, for example, enhanced customer image. But at the end of the day, you're expecting that will be a strategy that will be able maybe to retain your customers and to attract more customers. And at the end of the day, we may increase revenue, but it is indirectly as far as the organization is concerned. Then you look at the quality dimensions of information. So information should be of quality, and we look at quality in a number of aspects or dimensions. So first, in terms of time, information should have timeliness. The currency of the information needs to be right in terms of information is being used across the organization. It is being used in various organizations, in various departments by various people. It needs to be accessed by those people in the right way. Frequency, how frequently that information needs to be right. The time period when the information is required at a particular time period. So all those aspects needs to be correct. And then when it comes to content, accuracy, information needs to be accurate. Because when you have information is not accurate, maybe due to being distorted in one way or another, we bring about integrity issues as far as the organization is concerned. Relevance, information needs to be relevant to whoever is using it, or to whoever entity is using that information or being transmitted to. Completeness, it should be complete, otherwise it will lead to inefficiencies, and then it should be of the right scope. Form, this is where you're talking of clarity, detail, presentation, order, and media. Information needs to be presented in the right form, in the right format. It needs to be clear the way it's being displayed. It needs to be in the right order. So all those things means a lot to organization. So at this level, I would like you, for your further reading, go and visit various websites, go online. You can use, for example, 2 different computer sellers, online computer sellers, and compare the information that they have provided about the products that they are selling. If you look at that information, is it good? Is it pure? Is it good, or is it poor? In terms of, if you look at these quality dimensions, does it meet this threshold or the quality aspects. Is it timely? Is it accurate? When you evaluate it in terms of all the information that you want, is it presented in a way that you understand? So that one will be for your further reading. Next, we look at knowledge. Knowledge is the combined result of a person's experiences and the information they possess. So knowledge is a very interesting factor because knowledge is dependent on the person or the expertise. So whatever that they have, which is most of the time as a professional, as a person, through experiences, they have knowledge. And that knowledge needs to be presented, is used. Organization use knowledge of its employees in the day-to-day operations. So knowledge can be classified as two types. We have explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge. And explicit knowledge is that knowledge that can be easily captured and represented in a certain form in documents, in other medias, manuals, procedure. For example, you go to an organization, the procedure of performing a particular business task. For example, when you go to a bank, the procedure of withdraw from the teller or the bank withdrawal procedure, there is a way certain things are done in a particular way. So that can be documented. That can be passed from one employee to another through a procedure. And then we have tacit knowledge, is knowledge that is characterized by factors such as, for example, perceptions, beliefs, intuition, experience. And usually this is knowledge that is not easy to document. It is not like a process, but it is knowledge that, for example, an employee uses in their day-to-day, and usually maybe still through experiences, they have been able to know things, they have been able to gain certain knowledge, but it may be hard to put it in document, and sometimes we can have that being recorded. So knowledge management then involves now collecting knowledge and converting it to a form that can allow it to be shared across the organization, because knowledge needs to be exchanged, it needs to be shared, it needs to be transferred to other employees as they come within the organization. So a key part of this process involves gathering the tacit knowledge and converting it into explicit knowledge that can further be passed on to other employees. Then we have decisions and organizational levels. So we have the pyramid that describes the various organization levels. You have the strategic level, which is the top level management. You have the tactical level, that is the middle level management of the organization, and the operational level, which usually consider it as the lower level. This is where we have employees and people within the organization doing various things and tasks according to their roles. So what happens is that as far as decision making is concerned, we find that at the top level, at the strategic level, the type of decisions that occurs at that level, we call them unstructured decisions. That is where rules and constraints governing the decisions are complicated or are unknown. So in other words, for you to make a decision at the top level, you're not necessarily following a certain rule or a certain procedure. Why? Because we find that at the top level, management at the strategic level, where we have the CEOs, the top level manager, they depend on information both from internal organization, inside the organization, and external, and a lot of external and other factors. So it is not just a procedure of how things are done. So at the top level, we talk of unstructured decision. As you go down the various levels of management, going to the operational level, the decisions become structured. That is situations where the rules and constraints governs the decisions are known. So the type of decisions that are done, they can easily follow a certain rule or procedure. So at the operational level, you find that the people there, in their decisions or what they do, they follow a certain, for example, documents, policies, or what that govern how things should be done. We look at system theory, which is the other concept in Introduction to Information System. So this is where we are trying to analyze and improve business processes by looking at things in terms of system. So first, what is a system? So a system is simply a set of related components that work together to achieve a common purpose. So anything that has components and those components are interrelated, they work together to achieve a purpose, we call that system. In this case, we note that you are not just considering computer system, you are talking about anything in this world that is made up of components. They work together to achieve a certain purpose. So the function of every system is to improve, is to receive inputs, do some processing or transformations to these inputs to produce what we call outputs, and transform the inputs into outputs. And in there you can there's so many types of systems that we can have. We have physical systems. A car is a system. It's an automobile system, and you can think about it. We have abstract systems, or systems in theory. They are not actually physical, but they represent theories and policies and culture and the way things do. There's a system. We can consider an organization as a system. A company is a system. Yeah, there's so many things. So system theory is what we understand, so that when it comes to an organization, you can be able to analyze the whole system, understand how things happen, and then be able to improve business process. And in our case, use information system as a system analyst to improve the way things are done, or to solve current business problem within the organization. So we look at characteristics of a system, because you have said we know what is a system. So for something to qualify to be called a system, it has to have these characteristics. The first one is a component. So every system is made up of a component, which is the aggregate part or the reducible part, also called a subsystem. So a system is made up of subsystems that work together to achieve a certain goal. And then we say that systems are interrelated, which is the other characteristics of a system. So that means the functions of one is somehow tied to the function of another. So they work together, so they are interrelated. Objective: every system achieves a certain purpose. So all the components will work together to achieve a purpose. Environment: every system exists in a certain environment. So environment, then, it is everything that is outside the system boundary. And that one can contain other systems and other external things. And this is where usually the system gets the input from and gives output to. And then we have boundary, which shows, this is what shows what is within its components, or what is contained in that system, and establishes the limit of a system. So the boundary is what separates the system from the environment. We have the interface, is the point at which the system meets its environment, the interfaces. Input is anything that is entering into the system from the environment. The output is anything that is leaving the system, crossing the boundary, going to the environment. And lastly, the constraints are the limits to which it can do and how it can achieve its purpose within its environment. So we find that every system is constrained or have certain constraints. Then we look at information system. Information system is a group of interrelated components that work collectively to carry out input, processing, output, storage, and control actions in order to convert the data into information that can be used to support the various business functions, for example, forecasting, planning, control, coordination, decision making, and of course the operational activities in an organization. So note, we started with a system which was not necessarily a computerized system, but it was any type of system. And then we come to information systems, which in our case, they are these systems that are used for inputting, processing, and producing output, and doing control actions for the purpose of producing information. Usually that is used by managers to make decisions, but at the same time that information is used for supporting, forecasting, planning, control, coordination, and of course all those are functions of managers. Resources that support information systems, sometimes we consider them as components of information systems. So these are the people resources that can include the users of these information systems, the developers of these information system, or any other stakeholders. We have the hardware components or the hardware resources. This will include all the hardware and computer related accessories, the computers, the laptops, the tablets, the phones, the printers, the servers, all those, the networking equipment. And then you have the software resources. These are the various types of softwares that will be in use by these information systems, starting from the operating systems that we run these computers, or OS, or if it is, for example, for phones, the Android, going to the application softwares that will be used by these information system, antivirus softwares, all softwares that will be part of these information system databases, softwares. And then you have communication resources, will include the communication aspects that will be used, networking, communication, the internet, and all that the information system platform will be based on. And then last, we have the data resources, that is the data that is used by this information system, that is processed, that is stored, and the databases, the database management systems, all those tools and resources. Then you look at types of information systems. We have various types of information systems. They have evolved from the past, starting from where we had the initial, from when computers started to be used, or to be used commercially, from the 1990s. There have been very many information systems that have been used and have evolved. So we are trying to integrate from where we came from to where we are. So business information system can be categorized into operations and management system, which now this can be implemented as enterprise or functional business systems. So starting with enterprise systems, these are systems, as the word suggests, they support the business processes of an organization across the various different functional areas of organization. So you're talking of customers, suppliers, partners, and all that. So they are systems, they're integrated systems that support those functions across the organization, and then provide a single integrated area or solution, where maybe, for example, we can have organization integrating the various different, one to have integrating with their suppliers in the various business functions that they have. So when you look at enterprise systems, there are various types of enterprise systems. So the enterprise systems are they support processes within the organization, but they can be divided according to their use. So first we have enterprise resource planning software or enterprise ERPs, which offer a single solution for a single supplier with integrated functions for major internal process such as production. So this is where you're mixing production, distribution, sales, finance, and human resource management into one integrated system which you're calling in ERP. And then what we find is that these systems, they can be able to integrate, and organizations can be able to connect with their suppliers and such. We have supply chain management system, as the word suggests. This one support activities that moves materials from supplier through the organization to customers. So an enterprise system that will support or automate that whole procedure from the way materials move from supplier up to the production, going up to the product going to a customer. That supply chain in business aspect. Customer relationship management, as the word suggests, they integrate the range of information system that contain information regarding customers. So these, for example, include systems that will collect customer data, analyze customer data, and be able to communicate and relay all that information, and be able to have keep customers near them by having a customer relationship management within the customers. And these days we have all these systems because of the growth of internet, web system, everything. These days we find that it is easy for organizations to be able to integrate or to be able to communicate and to be in touch with the customers by using the customer relationship management systems, enterprise system. Then you have supplier relationship management, SRM, which refers to all the activities involved with obtaining the items from supplier, procurement, transportation, and warehousing. So here we are looking at it in terms of from the supplier aspect. So enterprise systems that support that. The second category is business information systems, where we have two broad categories. You have the operational information system and the management information system. And for the operational information system, we have the transaction processing system, popularly known as the TPS. These are simply used to support the various day-to-day or transaction within an organization. They are used to manage the exchange of information and funds between a company and that parties such as customers, suppliers, and distributors. So they simply record and process data that results from the various business organization transactions. Then you have office automation systems. These ones are used to manage the administrative functions in an office environment and are often critical to the service-based industries. So this is, for example, when it comes to using various software application packages for supporting of administration functions, starting even document for activities, for example, document imaging processes, capturing documents, scanning, sending them to employees. Groupware, where you have email and teleconferencing within or between companies. Workflow management systems that, for example, schedule tasks, giving tasks to various people and such. And then the third type of operational information system, there we have the process control systems, which are important in manufacturing industries for controlling the manufacture of products, or simply support and control manufacturing processes. For example, we have material requirement planning for production using all the materials that are being used in the manufacturing industry. We have CAD, that is computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, using those softwares or tools for various design of products. And then we have Industry 4.0, which is a revolutionary way that companies currently are using to manufacture, improve, and distribute their products. So this is simply a way of allowing the physical components of an industrial process, such as the machines or workers or robots, to be integrated with the virtual network of the Internet of Things. You know that the Internet of Things is a new concept, and using also cloud computing, analytics. We know we are in the big data science and analytics, artificial intelligence and machine learning. So incorporating those technologies into the manufacturing to improve and distribute the products. So the goal is to have embedded computers and network monitors and control the physical processes and enable information to be shared at different stages of creating and manufacturing of that product. And then lastly, we have management information systems. So the types of management information systems, we have three broad ones. We have decision support system, which, as the name suggests, provide information in a form to facilitate tactical and strategic decision making. Tactical being at the tactical level, and strategic level, that is the top level. So they usually provide information that will assist in decision making. And you have under that we can have expert system that represent the knowledge and decision making skills of specialists. And you have neural networks which learn problem solving skills by exposure to a wide range of problems. We have the other type is information reporting systems that are mostly used for generating reports for decision making and produce, for example, periodic reports such as weekly sales summary and exception reports triggered by events that the system may note, such as production level falls below normal and producing such. So these are systems that are made to provide reporting based on certain criteria that the organization needs. And then lastly, executive information systems provide senior managers with a system to analyze, compare, and highlight trends to help govern the strategic direction of a company. So as the word suggests, they are mostly for executive level, for executives at the top level, manager or senior managers, and they are system that will help them analyze, compare trends, what if analysis, and give information or provide summary information, and can be used to for example, give information on key performance indicators and integrate data from a wide variety of sources. And in this case, we usually say such system will take information even from the external and internal. So they can be taking information from the internal systems that are already in use in the organization. That is the system we've discussed before. And information coming from external sources, for example, competitor, market information, political, and such, and then be able to give guidance, compare, analyze, and highlight trend, and then we help managers, senior level managers, to make a decision. Lastly, we can have what we call departmental applications, that is systems based within department of an organization, which may require application-specific software. So they may be custom made according to the organization. For example, for human resource, we can have job analysis and design, job management, recruitment. So those softwares that can be used for that. For marketing, we have marketing information systems that can be used for marketing, telemarketing software. For accounting, We can have sales order processing, payroll, and budgeting. So these ones are for certain or for specific lessons. For specific purposes. So later we'll be looking at details in terms of all information system, and later we'll be going to now how we develop such information systems.